wholesale sourcing, here we go. So for 30 minutes, we're going to source wholesalers and try to find some profitable wholesalers with Amazon to help jumpstart your business. And it's very simple. And the method that we're going to go into today is literally just looking through Google Maps, through Google search. It's pretty much the easiest method. Anybody can do it. Anybody can start it. Even after this video, you can go on your own computer and do it. And you're going to see how I work through it, how I calculate it, and see what's going to work and what's not going to work, okay? And hopefully we can find some profitable Amazon listings from them and get some good relationships. So on this first page here, to cover this, this is going to be our main sheet. It's pretty simple. Category, supplier, supplier contact, notes, okay? This is what I'm going to use to fill in this information. And by the end of this video, hopefully this sheet has a number of contacts and potential wholesalers on it where we can fill this up. And then we can build relationships with them, contact them via phone call or email, and then buy their products, sell them on Amazon, rinse and repeat, and make money, all right? It's a pretty simple process. So if you're looking at it and be like, no way, yeah, there's a way. Let's dive into it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, since this is like the simplest method, we're not gonna dive into tools or resources to do wholesale supplier sourcing, because chances are you probably don't have those tools or resources. And by the end of this video, I want you to have knowledge and capabilities of doing wholesale supplier sourcing, because it's pretty simple and pretty easy. So I don't want to give you all these different tools and resources where you have to pay money for. Basically, if you just have a laptop, you open it up and do this Google search, you're going to be in the clear. So let's dive into it. Now, I personally like this category. As you can see, I already have it here on my search with Google. Healthcare wholesalers near me. Now, this is important. So using these buzzwords or these key terms, which some of the key terms are wholesalers, distributors, suppliers, bulk, right? Some of those wholesale words where we're trying to buy in bulk and at discounts, if you put those into Google, you're already going to get pushed towards wholesalers and distributors, right? Because we don't want to work with retailers in this video. We want to work with wholesale suppliers who can buy month over month consistently, make a lot of money, and travel while doing Amazon, right? So some of the buzzwords for me are wholesalers, distributors, bulk, suppliers, stuff like that. Now, what I typically do is I search up a category and then I attach the word distributor or wholesaler near it. And then I say near me. And you don't have to say near me because we're going to dive into Google Maps anyways. And you can basically target these wholesalers, distributors by maps from every single state, town, city, you name it, right? It's very, very simple. So literally from doing that, from typing in healthcare wholesalers near me, and I opened up maps. Now, I'm in Connecticut currently, okay? Connecticut here in the US, which is on the East Coast of the US. And what you're gonna see pops up is a bunch of wholesalers, some qualified, some unqualified, all right? I don't know any of these. Chances are you probably don't know any of these, but that's the good thing. We wanna have smaller wholesalers. I don't wanna work with the biggest wholesale distribution company in the world because chances are, one, they're not gonna let us open an account and buy from them. And two, their prices won't be profitable because they're supplying to all the bigger grocery stores and Stop and Shop and Walmarts of the world. So it's impossible to build a good relationship to actually make money with them on Amazon. We want to find the smaller ones who are old timers, 80 years in the business, 60 years in the business, build relationships with them and buy and sell on a consistent basis, okay? It's what thousands, and at this point, probably millions of people are doing on Amazon and making a ton of money from, okay? I am one of them, okay? So let's go through it here. So I'm on here on the maps side of things, and you're seeing all these different shops pop up, right? These red tools now, and it's saying all these different wholesalers or what could be wholesalers, right? We have to vet them and make sure that they're a proper wholesaler, whether they're big, small, you name it, right? So you can work through this kind of graph all you want, but the easiest way to do it is go here in the results on the left. And what's gonna happen here in the results on the left is right away we're gonna see the name of the wholesaler, the reviews out of 5 stars, 5 the best, their address or what town or state they're in, and any other detail about that, okay? So here's the first wholesaler that pops up, Charm Medical Supply. The first thing I'm gonna do is kind of run you guys over what's coming off as good and what's coming off as bad to me and why I'm gonna pursue it or not gonna pursue it, right? Because we have our sheet right here to jot our wholesalers, contacts, and relationships in, because then we're gonna go and follow up with all of them, reach out to them, follow up again, open accounts and buy. But before we get there, we don't wanna just list every single company, right? We don't wanna list the big ones, but we also have to look for certain wholesalers, okay? So let's look at this company, Charm Medical Supply. What I always do is I dive into the picture of the company to see like the outside building to make sure it's actually a proper wholesale building. Because if they have a house or a garage, chances are they're not a proper or authentic wholesaler, because who in the world does business out of a garage? It just doesn't make sense. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that they actually have a building that people go in and buy in bulk from, because people aren't buying 1 or 2 units, they're buying hundreds of units. Okay, so this building here looks a little bit interesting, kind of looks like a doctor's office, but as you can see here with the pictures down below, they're kind of an interesting, unique wholesaler. These pictures aren't great. I mean, I don't know if these pictures resemble something that's not great, but this doesn't look like a proper wholesaler. It looks like more of like a I don't know, retailer or something like that. Okay, so I would just move on. In this picture alone, majority of wholesalers don't have these kind of structures to advertise their products here. This is kind of neat, this structure here. Most of them are just in warehouses, boxes, pallets, you name it. That's what you want to look out for. Okay, now this company here, I don't know how to pronounce that. Medzes Industries. Okay, let's see what they got here for a building. Okay, they actually have a pretty decent building here. This is something I'd like to see. All right, looks like a lot of wholesalers, a lot of buildings around the area, so that's not bad. Now, I don't like seeing the medical equipment supplier because that typically means a niche we don't really want to work with. But let's just click on their website and see what they have for us. Okay. Now, also, I'm clicking on their website, but the best wholesalers have the worst websites. Literally, take it from me, right? The smallest wholesalers, the ones who don't care about their websites, they care about their relationships. And the bigger ones aren't great. So these guys are actually kind of big. You can see here about 15 guys. They have a proper website. They get featured on Hartford Healthcare. That's not great. All right, let's just see what products they carry. Okay, so they're just carrying stuff that's just not in our range, right? They have walkers, crutches, canes, etc. So we can just immediately move on because there's no point to even work with them. Now, this company, J&L Medical Services, before I even dive into it, I mean, this looks like a doctor's office too. They have 1.4 star reviews. Okay, it's terrible. Now, Better Health Products. This is decent. The problem is they have a house. Like I said, remember that we don't want to work with companies who have a house. That's something we don't want to work with, okay? Let's keep it going. All right, medical supply store, not great. 3 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars, not great. You can see we're kind of picking it up. Costco pops up here. Here's a company here, Wholesale United. It's a good name. Okay, maybe their address is off because there's no way it's a wholesaler. Wholesale United, 1 review. Let's see if the review has any lingo on it. Just 5 stars from 10 star review. So what I would do is I would call this company, okay? I would have to call this company because I can't get any information from, and any information from what I'm seeing online. So literally just call this company. Let's call it Wholesale United. You can even link the Google listing here from Amazon, from the search bar if you want, just to link it, making sure you know what company we're working with here. But we're going to say category is healthcare. My notes, very small. They don't even have a website. So that's how you know it's hard to get in touch with, okay? Let's open that up a little bit. Now, that's be one of the first companies that I call when I go into my actual sourcing for these wholesale suppliers. But let's keep it going. We have Rainbow Medical, 3.4 stars, not great. I'm getting a lot of low-level wholesalers popping up, okay? And what you can do, one of the best tactics with this method is maybe you're in a bad area. Maybe you're in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska or Iowa, right? You're not gonna have a lot of wholesalers or people who you want to tailor to in your industry. So what you can do is you could change your location. Now, Florida's a great place. For healthcare wholesalers, Florida's a great place. California, New York, right? The bigger ones are the best ones, okay? Now, I literally just typed in healthcare wholesalers Florida, kind of just changed up the wording, kept that wholesaler wording. Again, this can go on forever. You can swap that word for distributors, supplier, buying in bulk, or you can even tailor to a specific brand, which we won't dive into that much. I'll make an entire video on that. But let's see what we got here with this supplier. Okay, we have DDP Medical Supply. I've actually heard of them, so I won't dive into them because I know how they work or what they are. Again, this wholesaler is not great. It looks like a retail store, okay? How about this one? Medical ink distribution. Okay, this looks pretty good. There we go. This is the picture that we want. We want to see pallets. We want to see a warehouse, someone who's actually doing it legitimate. Now, they look a bit bigger because they have decently good advertising. Let's see if they have a website. They do. That's the best way to do it. They look kind of like a drug distributor here. I wonder if they have niche stuff because, a drug distributor is okay. A lot of stuff won't be able to be sold on Amazon. But the more the problem is they're probably not big company branded drugs. You can see here, like, I don't know any of these companies, right? You want to see some of the bigger companies that you know that they carry. Them typically, they don't look like they carry that. Let's see their discount sale. It looks like mostly one brand called Identify. All right, so we're just gonna pass on for them. Keep it going. JMS Med Supply. Okay, let's click on there. Here. Nope. Patches and stuff like that just wouldn't work. Okay, here comes logistics company. This might be a shipping company, so it's something to note as well, because logistics typically means like shipping, transportation, and freight, so it's not something we want to look for. Here comes a good one. They also don't have a website, okay? We have HCA Lakeland Supply Chain, okay? Here comes another one. I'm gonna have to call these, right? Because you have to vet these potential suppliers if you can't get contact on them. And like I said, it's great, right? Like if you can't get in contact with them, it's actually a better thing rather than like getting in contact with them easily. Because remember, everybody would be doing it if it was that easy. Now what I'm gonna do here as well, I'm gonna add a column to the left here, and I'm gonna say state, okay? Just so we know where we're searching. We'll minimize that, okay? This was the state of Connecticut. This was Florida. And we can also go back and track our metrics to see what was the most successful, right? If we have 100 Florida wholesalers for healthcare, then we know Florida is kind of like the place to work with for that, okay? Next, here's another one. This is actually pretty good. This is a smaller one again. It's a health and beauty shop, okay? Let's see if they have a website. No, but they do have a contact, which is great. Health Supply 770. Let's see here. So we're already on our third wholesaler, and we're about 5 minutes in after doing some explaining. And you can imagine, looked promising. I leave little notes for myself, right? Like, you can also do this, like little notes for yourself. So when I'm calling them, I kind of, can change my attitude a little bit by understanding how to work with them, if they're smaller, if they're bigger, if they're so on. So it's good to have little notes for yourself. But you can tell if you build a list of 100 wholesalers, and we're already at 3, we're kind of flying here, and we've only done Connecticut in one category and Florida, and we've maybe looked through 3 wholesalers in one category. Could you imagine 10 categories across all 50 states? You're looking at hundreds of thousands of wholesalers. And from there, can you buy one profitable product to make money on Amazon? I think so. I think it's definitely a possibility. Here's our pharmaceuticals wholesaler. Okay, got the Tampa Bay Bucks symbol right there. They don't, they have a website, okay. This looks very proper, okay. They're talking about partnerships and so on. Let's just see about them really quickly just to see what they are. Somebody I wouldn't work with, okay. I just going off of that, not good, okay. Let's keep going. USA Med Supply, Florida Home. That low reviews is also important too. Like, it could be a good small wholesaler, pallets, everything we want to see in the warehouse and the pictures. But if they have low reviews, there's no point to even work with them, all right? Just because we don't want to risk buying bad inventory. It becomes way worse. I'm going to move on for them. The reason why I moved on for that company just now is because they're just a little bit too specific in pharmaceutical. I don't really want to work in pharmaceutical that much. I want to work in just healthcare in general, some of the bigger brands. A1 Medical Supplies, this could be, decent. This is not a great picture, to be honest. Yeah, this is not a great picture. We'll just keep it moving. Let's keep it going here. Real-time distribution. Florida Medical Sales, Inc. Let's see their website really quickly. They're also a wholesale manufacturer, okay? So they're actually dealing with a lot of products. A little bit too detailed for me, okay? Let's just keep it moving. Now, I'm gonna go to a different category just to keep it fresh. Tools and home improvements. Wholesaler. And what I'm also gonna do here in a minute is I'm gonna change up that wording, those buzzwords, right? I'm gonna change it to supplier, to bulk purchasing, stuff like that. Here we go, Florida Wholesale. Now, of course, guys, you also have to kind of work in your niche or category of what you wanna work with. I'm just using pretty much everything to give you every single example possible that you might need to do some wholesale sourcing. So when I type this one up in Florida, only this company really pops up, and they kind of have looks like a retail store a little bit. Now, here's something that's important as well to note. A lot of these companies might have like not to say a cover up, but they might have a retail shop in front and then basically a wholesale distribution center in the back. Doesn't happen often, but it could be a possibility. Now, this company looks like they do retail and wholesale because no wholesaler that's legitimate actually advertises their pricing on their website. And if they do, they're like a wholesaler for, grocery stores or something like that, because this is, you just can't work with wholesalers like that. All right. Here we go. Tampa Tool Empire. This kind of looks like a smaller shop, but it looks like maybe contractors work with them. There's a good opportunity here. Let me just make sure they have a phone number and they have a Facebook page. Okay. They don't even have a website, which is great. That's a great sign. Okay. They have some pictures here on the left. They're carrying some big brands, Ryobi, Milwaukee. Okay. Also, you have to remember too, these smaller wholesalers, you can build a relationship with them because they're willing to bend the needle a bit more than the bigger wholesalers would, right? Like for one, discounts. But two, if you were to say, hey, are you able to carry this product, right? You carry the brand called Milwaukee. Are you able to, right? We saw that here, they carry Milwaukee. Are you able to actually carry this product as well from Milwaukee? Because maybe they don't, because maybe their current customer line doesn't buy it a lot, but maybe you would buy it a lot. So you can just contact them and be like, hey, can you ask Milwaukee to supply this product and what pricing can you do? You can kind of bend the needle a bit more, right? And I'll dive into that more in a bit. But so I'm just putting little notes here, right? Ryobi in, oh God, I'm gonna spell that wrong. Okay, that's spelled very, very wrong, but it's okay. Now that kind of ends that up there in Florida. Let's see, tools, wholesalers. Okay, let's see if anything pops up here. Let's see if we can get some here. You're also gonna get a lot of the bigger companies. It's gonna happen, right? Like Harbor Freight. That's a massive company anybody can buy from. This looks decent. Hemley Tool Supply. This one also looks good. Northeast Tool Distributors. There's a few of them here. I mean, this one looks decent. I mean, it kind of looks like a retail store. Yeah, it looks like a retail store, but these, again, there's small opportunities here. It just looks like a retail store. I'd pass on it. Again, that's the one you could do deep diving in, right? Here comes this one. This is as good as it gets for a wholesaler here. This is pretty much a dictionary-like wholesaler. I mean, it looks a little bit like retail, but this is, we got pallets, we got a warehouse, we got legitimate stuff happening here, okay? So let's copy this company, ABC Co-Wholesale Distributors. We're back in Connecticut. Now, ideally, what you would do is you would go by state, right? And then you would refilter the entire search for wholesalers because you don't want to bounce around. I'm bouncing around here just for example's sake, right? But you don't want to bounce around because your head's going to be a million different places, right? Like work by state, work by region of the United States or wherever you are, and then move left or move right and go from there, right? Because it's easier to go through 9 or 10 categories in one state and then continue to move. And at that point, you'd be at 100, 200 wholesalers, and just working with them in general, you have so many, products to scan to see what they carry, communications to be had, right? Like requesting pricing, requesting bulk, all that stuff. Like we're doing follow-ups with all those wholesalers. You'll never get to another 100, right? It'll take you forever. You'll probably have 5 or 7 relationships by then before you get to another 100, okay? Let's keep it going here, see if we can find anything else. National Tool. I guess I'll take a look at it. Machinery. We don't work with big machinery. I don't think that would work well on Amazon. Here comes another one here. This is great. This is what we want to see in a wholesaler, right? This is the pinpoint. This is a wholesaler, right? Like this building here where they can bring trucks in. Everything looks proper. I mean, this one too. I don't know if this one is the same company, but this is a proper company here, right? So, Northern Industrial, okay? And does it say what they carry? And just industrial, okay? Industrial could be anything. It's a very broad term or category. So if you ever see that, just know you keep your options open. And remember, if a wholesaler carries a specific category, it's great, right? But what also I'm going to show you in a sec is just general purpose wholesalers. Let's say good on the outside. General purpose wholesalers are also great. We're doing this by category right now. I'm being very specific. But what if I said general purpose wholesalers Connecticut. There's so many different ways you can look these up. And general purpose just means like anything, right? Any product and so on. This is a liquidator, which you have to kind of make sure that you're vetting them properly, because liquidators are a bit dangerous because they don't have proper supply chain information. So I personally just avoid liquidators. I mean, they have a bunch of Amazon boxes here because I would avoid liquidators, because if Amazon requests an invoice, then you're kind of in trouble because you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Wholesale Club LLC, another one right here. This company actually looks familiar, so I don't know if I've seen them before, but because what I can see here is just a big warehouse, right? You can kind of like see it as you glimpse in it. And obviously you're going to be doing more detail, focusing on every single one of the wholesalers, but I can see a warehouse that goes far, far, far back. And it kind of looks like a retail store. Here we go, Street View. Street View is great. Here we go, Wholesale Club, General Merchandise. Another ideal wholesaler. I mean, this is a wholesale shop through and through. You can see it probably goes all the way back there. It's probably huge. They probably bring in trucks this way. I can imagine they have a big gate there and good. So Street View is one of the best things you could ever do, and it's ever existed for Amazon searching for wholesalers, because you get to just see the building on the outside. Are you an actual wholesaler? Are you a retailer? Are you not? What are you? Right? So this is great. Another one. I'm gonna say general purpose here, which means they carry pretty much anything, which opens up your options, right? Maybe you don't get as profitable, but now you have options to carry all 10, 11, 12 categories that you might be looking for. So, and that's very, very beneficial. And I've done that as well before. I've worked with a lot of general purpose wholesalers who have access to a lot of different things. Maybe they don't have the best pricing, but they have niche stuff, right? Like international stuff, overseas stuff. Northeastern Wholesale Distributors. Let's see their picture. Not popping up, okay. That picture wasn't popping up, so we'll just move on. We'll kind of go back to it after. That's the one we just looked at. Superior Distributors, one we looked at. Bargain Enterprise, okay. This looks maybe a little bit too small for me. No, this is decent. I mean, it's definitely a call. It's a call away, okay? Now, you might be asking too, why am I not taking down the links to each of these, which I could be, right? But chances are if I look up Bargain Enterprise in that specific state that we found them from, I could just find them again, right? So I wouldn't need to like scram to find them. I'll copy their contact. First, they're in the state of Connecticut. Oh, I'm all messed up here. Here we go. General purpose, Bargain Enterprises. Small but chance. Okay, little notes, because right before I call or email, when I send bulk emails or call, I'm gonna look at my little note and be like, okay, how should I approach them? I might even just look up the name again of the supplier and go back into do a double take on them. Here comes another one. Golden City Distribution. This is another perfect one, right? We have a warehouse here. We have a lot of, okay, we have some food here, but I see the hazmat boxes here. This is a proper wholesaler. We have pallets going on. We have boxes. They have a loading dock. This is great. Okay, Golden City Distribution, another ideal wholesaler here. Back in Connecticut. So just by going to general purpose, we've opened up our options to a lot. Now, again, it doesn't keep us specific or niche, but it's good because we're getting a lot of options here to call. And you just have to literally just think and kind of tell yourself, they also don't have a phone number here, which is unfortunate. Because also my ideal initial method of contact, because you can go through many, many emails, is just by email. But if you can't get through to them, I'm just going to save this because it's not loading here. But if you can't get through to them via email, you have to call, right? What is it going to take? 1 minute, 2 minutes? And I can even do a video if you guys want. Let me know. I'm doing call scripts and talking with wholesalers. It's very easy and very casual. Hey, can I buy this at this amount of units at this price? Yes, no, maybe so. Great. And then you continue that process with them. And you say, hey, can I look at other products that you guys sell? Okay, great. Hey, can I see your entire catalog? All right, great. And that's how you do it, right? Let's use that word distributor now, right? Florida General Purpose Distributor. Let's see what happens. Distributor typically means the supplier who supplies to the wholesaler, right? So distributors typically higher on like if you're evaluating both of them. But It could also be smaller distributors that are like just use the word wholesaling, which is one right here. Florida Distributors Inc. This is as good as it gets. I know I've said that a few times, but I meant like as far as the name, Florida Distributors Inc. So they have a contact. That's great. 954 is Florida time. How would I classify these guys? I would say, I guess I would just say proper wholesaler. Proper wholesaler here in Florida, back in Florida, okay? General purpose. So what I'm doing again, like I said, is compiling this big list to call all of these wholesalers. Now, if you don't want to call wholesalers, you want to feel like I'm not really interested in doing that, you can just compile all of their emails. Now, take it for this, right? You're going to get a lot more answers on calls, and a lot better of an opportunity to actually open an account, but you'll be surprised on how many wholesalers actually respond to their email. It might be a Gmail or a .com email because they want business. They want business, right? So they're going to respond, and if they don't, move on to the next. As you can see, we're through about 10 of them or so just here in about 15 to 20 minutes of sourcing wholesale suppliers. Now, I can spend my entire rest of my day calling all these, building relationships, looking at what products they sell, going to Amazon, right? Going to literally Amazon. Let's say, for example, let's go to Amazon.com. I know this is kind of off the beaten path here a little bit, but going to Amazon and let's say searching up a specific product, whatever the product may be, okay? Let's say it was this brand, because I guess I was researching this brand recently. And let's just say the specific product was this product right here, this Polaris AGL transmission fluid. If they gave me pricing on this product and they said it was $14, I would go to Amazon and see what we can sell it for. Okay, $22.99. Again, of course, you have to go to into the Keepa, the softwares, and the that I've made many videos on. If you want to dive back into those videos to see how it is to dive into it and see if it's a good product to sell or not. But you can just do instant searches, right? Instant searches. You got a product, a good price, bring it to Amazon. Does it work? No. Go back to the supplier. Does it work? No. And go back to the scan sheet, right? And see how many products they're selling and see which ones that we can also sell or buy from them and then sell, all right? So building this fast and solid catalog is going to be very worthwhile in the future. This is not a wholesaler we want to work with. A little bit too dangerous for us. This is a massive distributor. You can see, right? So this is one I wouldn't work with. Just off the image alone, they're huge, right? They have a proper, this sign-in alone, it costs like $45,000, right, to put up. So a small wholesaler is not doing that. And they have a very big distribution center. And we don't want to work with big distribution companies. We want to work with smaller ones, okay? Pool supply distributors, this isn't bad, right? It's just a bit more niche. And who knows, if you could build a relationship with them and maybe they're selling certain fluids or liquids that are profitable on Amazon, why not? Give it a go, right? I'm gonna jot this down and give them a call. And by the way, feel free to call every single one of these companies that I'm jotting down here right now with you guys, because that's what I want to do. I want to set you guys up for a lot of success by just seeing how the process works. And I just did wholesale sourcing for you, I guess, right? For all this time. So you can find success. That's the goal. Now this website's another one that's not popping up, but I would just save it. I'll save the website to go back into, and I'm going to put pool distributor, just so I know when I'm calling them that, okay, this is niche. This is going to be pretty interesting when we call them. You kind of have to tailor your wording around that, right? Because here's the thing. If I call them and I'm like, yeah, hey, we're a general purpose wholesaler and we carry medical supplies, tools, and everything like that, they're going to say, well, why do you want to work with pool products? That's going to be just an instant response from them. And it's understandable, right? It's like, well, why do you want to work with us? Because they're used to selling to pool companies or pool installers, pool contractors, people who work with pools. But if we're calling them to basically tell them, hey, we're looking to sell on Amazon and we sell all these other products, we want to sell your products too, they're going to be like, really? Kick rocks, right? Like, this is not going to happen. I've actually had that happen to me many times, people saying that. This looks like another big company here. Let's dive back into it. Sorry if I'm going a bit fast. I don't want to waste any time. I want to try to get through as many distributors as we can and wholesalers for you guys, so you can get a lot of opportunities. Okay, this looks pretty good. This is as local as it gets. It looks like they're like on a farm here. DP and Company, and they're a tool wholesaler. Look at that. I looked up general purpose, and a tool wholesaler popped up. Okay, Florida here. PP. Let me just copy and paste it here. Got a contact for us. A number and a website. Okay. The smaller website, the better, but it's okay. On farmland. Okay, and also it's a little bit of social cues for yourself, or memory cues, I guess you can call it, on what wholesaler was when you saw them, and make that mental image when you go through them. So here we are here. Let's look at our list for a second and evaluate this, because this is good, right? We have about 10 to 14 distributors here from the state of Connecticut and Florida. Now, we only really went through 2 categories and used only really 1 or 2 buzzwords for finding these distributors, right? We went to healthcare and tools. I guess we went to general purpose as well, and then we found some other ones. But if you do this across every single state, every single buzzword, wholesaler, distributor, supplier, bulk, right? You use those 4 buzzwords, and you just literally go through one by one of every category, right? Like healthcare, tools, supplies, you name it, right? Whatever category you might like. Baby care, healthcare, beauty care. Beauty care is going to be massive. Tons of wholesalers, right, that pop up, but it's all your preference. Could even be shoes or clothing. You're going to find thousands of wholesalers. And if you put the work in calling them or emailing them, right? If you want to do things in bulk, which I prefer to do email nowadays, because I have a lot of good relationships that I don't need to like call new ones, but I like to just email them and see if I can build a new relationship with them. Like, it's not urgent. Then you can basically get in touch with hundreds of opportunities. And think about this. If every single wholesaler carries 100 to 1,000 products in their catalog themselves, or have access to carry for you, and you go through all of those, now you have 100 wholesalers. Let's go here in the calculator side of things. 100 wholesalers that you found because you wanted to stop at 100, and each of them carry 1,000 products, or have the access to. Maybe they don't have 1,000 in their warehouse, but they have access to 1,000. So you're looking at 100,000 products that you have access to from 100 wholesalers. Now, is every wholesaler going to allow you to open an account, build a relationship with them? No. Some of them are going to be tougher. Some of them are going to be old school. They don't like young guys. And of course, you can't just come off to them and tell them you're looking to sell online and e-commerce and Amazon. They're going to get scared away. But in 100,000 opportunities, do you think you can convert at least 5 to 10 products to bring into your catalog? And if you do, the efforts that come from sourcing these wholesale suppliers will live on for years in your Amazon storefront, right? Because by getting relationships and building relationships on 5 to 10 products that you can buy profitably, and you can do that for the next 12 months, 14 months, 24 months, 1, those wholesalers are going to bring you leads to your table, and 2, you're going to be able to make thousands of dollars just consistently reordering those products from the wholesalers, right? And it's as simple as that. It's as easy as that. So there we go. Feel free to take like a screenshot or a snapshot of these distributors here and call them or email them. Go to their websites. But this was a snapshot of doing these wholesalers here, wholesale searching just from the Google method, just from going on Google, going to Google Maps, looking at the imaging, looking at the pictures, and seeing if they would work out. There's so many more methods with wholesale sourcing, like LinkedIn sourcing, like Smart Scout, like Keep a Product Finder. It goes on forever. And we just did one method, very niche, and we found a ton of potential wholesalers according to our criteria and categories. So there you guys go for some wholesale sourcing. Let me know if you like this video. I'd be happy to make an hour-long video on this, as well as a 2-hour, 4-hour, or an entire free course on this for here on YouTube. So let me know what you guys think. I hope this helped. Please subscribe as it continues to help me make more videos and help educate you guys for completely free. So there we go. See you for now, and happy Amazon selling.